Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. It's me, Niall. Delighted tonight to be joined by Chris and Andrew from Boxing Bros UK. We're here reacting to what we've just seen from London, England to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Conor BENN
Oh,
has dominated Chris EUBANK Jr. in their highly anticipated rematch over 12 rounds to finally get a win in the BENN column for that family, after 35 years of the rivalry, the BENN family
jeez.
finally have a win, and it was an impressive win for BENN, an impressive performance. I'll start with you, Chris. Just give us your overall thoughts. What was your thoughts on that performance from both men, really?
Oh, my thoughts are Father Time waits for no man, and Chris Eubank Jr. he went old overnight, and the weight cut was too much. The last fight took too much out of him. He's nearly got 10 years on him, and he just got old overnight. Couldn't get his jab going, couldn't get his feet moving. Conor Ben had learned so much from the first fight. He was calculated. He was too quick, too fast, too powerful, too aggressive. And just Eubank Jr. just looked like a deer in the headlights from round one. I didn't give him one single round. I didn't give him one
Oof.
round in the whole fight. And then obviously the last round, that was a 10-7 round. And yeah, I just think, another thing, I do not want to see a third fight because the first fight was close. That's why we had this one. But there's no point seeing a third fight because he won every single round and nearly stopped him in the 12th. There's no need for a third fight because it's just pointless. Pointless.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. To be honest, I think I'll throw it over to you,
Interesting.
Andrew. Would you kind of agree with that? Would you subscribe to that analysis from Chris?
Or it's hard to disagree with what Chris has said there, to be honest. I'll try and add my own embellishments. Um, God, what went wrong I mean, we were just saying off air. I mean, it's rare in this game on our side of the business that you get a prediction absolutely bang on, and me and Chris sort of double down, and we will disagree from time. We disagreed on the Parker Wardy one, Boatsy Parker. And we just felt there's only so many times you can go to the well. He clearly struggles making 160. On top of that, with the rehydration clauses as well, another year on, not that long from the first fight, he obviously sustained more damage in the first fight. He was at the hospital for 3 days. Conor Ben,
Toenail
we
fell
just
off.
felt, yeah, Conor Ben, we just felt could make the necessary adjustments. He had the kind of higher ceiling going into the next fight. You know, the rounds better. He got his jab going. And it was a complete shutout. I don't think I gave Eubank one round either. And it was a really like weird performance from Eubank Jr. Like, I think that's the weakest I've ever seen him. And he was being ragdolled around in there as well. I don't know if that's like Chris has said, father time or all the rehydration issues. I'm not sure what went on there, but he looked a shadow of his former self. It quite starting to watch. But Conor Ben was terrific. Showed he could box a bit, by the way, boys. I
Oh,
thought he was terrific. Punching off the feints a bit
exceptional.
more. Jab was landing. Anyway, I'm blabbering on and on and on. But yeah, there we go. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
exceptional,
I
man.
have to agree with you both. I think you've hit the nail on the head. First of all, on Conor Ben, take nothing away from him. It's the best I've seen him box. A lot more disciplined than the first fight, a lot more composed, so quick. Quick hands. I don't think he really gets credit for how fast he is with that kind of explosive combination punching. But yeah, very, very quick. And yeah, just Chris Eubank Jr., as sluggish as I've ever seen him, as poor as I've ever seen him. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I know he's 36 now, but the weight, the weight cut took so much out of him the last time, and it took even more out of him this time. His last stand was in that first fight, his last great performance, and he just had nothing left. Right from the very first round here, he had absolutely nothing left, which is sad. It was a sad watch when you consider that, like, he didn't really need to take this rematch. You know, he was the fair winner in the first fight. He had other kind of, I know it makes a lot of money, the rematch, but you know, with the weight cut as well, you know, he didn't even get to dictate the terms on this one. There was still a weight, it was still at 160, and there was still a rehydration clause. So it was very disappointing. He had nothing to really prove here, but he took it, and yeah, he looked dreadful. He really did look dreadful right from the start, and it was sad to see. But yeah, as I
But
say,
what? Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead,
there's
Regan.
so one thing that out of stubbornness, you like Eubank Jr. He came in at 159 0.1, yeah, and he did that to prove a point. Like, you're not getting any money from me. I'm making weight this time. Conor Ben came in 159 like point 0.5 or something heavy, and if you Ben, he'd been doing some good strength and conditioning. He was a bit more beefed up this time. He was a bit more solid. And in the fight, he was bullying him. He was stronger. Anytime Eubank Jr. was coming in the clinches, he was throwing him on the floor, pushing him down, like ragdolling him. I think,
Yeah.
and I just think Eubank Jr. was trying to prove a point about the weight cut and not actually thinking about the fight. And it was weak in there. Weak. It was so
Yeah.
sad, man.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, and it's a good point. Ben definitely did look stronger than even he did at the first fight. But yeah, let's kind of move on before we wrap up. Let's talk about the winner. What's next for the winner? A lot of big options for him now across two weight divisions. Really, you know, he's not going to stick around at 160. I'll start with you, Andrew, on this one. Talk to me about, do you think that Conor Ben will ever become a world champion, in your opinion, at either 154 or 147?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, look, I mean, he sort of made it clear he got. I think he quite fancies the fight. He seems to mention that quite a lot, and I think that's a winnable fight back down at 147. I think he's flattered to deceive a lot of the time I've watched Barrios. I
He
mean,
got a draw with Manny
you
Pacquiao.
know, I don't know,
Terrible.
like,
He's like
yeah,
nearly
well, I
50.
mean, he kind of yeah, he went a bit life and death with a very ancient Pacquiao there. I mean, take nothing away from Pacquiao. I don't know. I mean, he looked like he acclimatized to 160 quite well there. I mean, middleweight's not a particular. I mean, we were speaking to Spike O'Sullivan, Chris, weren't we? He wants to
Yeah.
still make a run for a world title at middleweight, you know, at 41. And when you got Erasoli Lara at about 162 in there still, you never know, dear. But I don't know. Chris said maybe 154 would be a good weight for him. I know Chris fancies that.
But
Um,
it,
but I don't know. I think maybe 147 is the route to go down. But I don't know. Will that be I'll throw it back to you, boys. Will that be a little bit of a problem though, going back to 147, or do you think he'll be all right? I don't know.
I was gonna say, I think that's a big question. If
percent he can't go back to
Yeah, I know you
147
feel strongly about
when
it, Chris, but
yeah,
yeah,
definitely not. Like in my experience, because I'm a strength and conditioning coach, like personal trainer, he's been
yeah,
fighting at 154 like for the year before or whatever. Then he's fought at 160 twice. He
yeah.
can't just boil right down to 147 and think that it's going to be no way. It's dangerous on the body. Look back in history, people who've done that. Roy Jones Jr., heavyweight, came back down, never the same again after that. Never the same. It's dangerous. If he goes down to 154, perfect. But then the only problem is, I'm as good as he was tonight, there's
Yeah.
too many killers in 154. Virgil
So it's
Ortiz, Boots Ennis, he ain't got a sniff. He ain't got a sniff of being a world champion at 154, no way, for me.
I
So,
think
but he has to fight at that weight because 147 is going to be too dangerous to go right down to. But 154, he can have a go. Give a good account of himself, but I don't believe he's beating Boots
I'm going
Ennis
to
or
go
Virgil
out on a
Ortiz,
limb
them
to
guys. No
finish
way.
before our esteemed host comes back into play. I'm going to say stick at 160. Keep doing your strength and conditioning. You're not the biggest at 160, but what he might have over a lot of opponents is that speed and agility he might have over a lot of middleweights. I'm wondering. You look at that division. I've said this to you, Chris. Even the domestic
Weak.
level, I
It's
think he
weak.
beats Brad Paul, Yahinis. You know, Denzel Bentley, I know he's had him in sparring a lot. That just in dust up. You know, Lara's getting on. That's a world title we could look at. Janabek, I know, is a good fighter. I say stick at 160. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be a good show. I think if he sticks at 160 and has world title aspirations, I think he needs Janabek to move up to 168. I think it's safe to say. But
Yeah, yeah,
apart from that, I do agree. Like it's not a strong division at 160, compared to 154, which is so
yeah,
stacked. It's just a weird one. Like as you say, Chris, he'd probably be at his healthiest at 154, but in terms of world title aspirations, I can't see it happening. I really
yeah.
can't. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. If I had to just quickly before we finish up, I'll throw one name. I'll throw a question at you. If you had to give me just one name who you want to see him fight next, who would it be? I'll start with you, Chris.
Carlos Adames.
Oh, interesting.
That'd be
Yeah.
that'd be a good fight. That's not a name I expected you to say. Andrew, I'll throw the same question to you. Who would you like to see him fight?
Yeah, that was one from a little bit left field, but I like that. I wouldn't mind seeing. I mean, it's one of those kind of where does he get his kind of world title shot at middleweight already? I don't know, but I wouldn't mind seeing maybe a little bit of a domestic dust up. Maybe someone like a Denzel Bentley or a Brad Pauls or someone like that. Just again another because look, with all due respect to Eubank Jr., I think he's possibly like I think you alluded to. Um, you know, that I think his last dance was probably in that
Yeah, for
first
sure.
fight. I don't think there's anything left. So I'd quite like to maybe see another competitive, but maybe I know he's got world title aspirations. That's how I would manage him. Another maybe domestic, big fight, maybe a Denzel Bentley. Then go on. Why not? Why not? Someone like a Lara. I mean, if could Lara might win that Janabek fight. It wouldn't surprise me. He's
I'm
a pretty
picking
old dog.
Lara to win. I'm picking him to win that fight.
He's
Janabek's a great
crafty,
fighter, but Lara's a tricky customer.
very tricky. I think it's gonna be an interesting one for
He's
Janabek,
southpaw.
but
Yeah.
So yeah, there we
plenty.
go. That's my shout.
Plenty. Oh, always great chatting to you. There's a lot of interesting options there for Conor Ben. That was myself and the Boxing Bros discussing what we've just seen from London, England, as Conor Ben has beaten Chris Eubank Jr. over 12 rounds, finally getting a win for Team Ben, the Ben family, and closing the Eubank Ben chapter after 35 years. Let us know what you think in the comments. What did you make of that fight? Would you like to see a trilogy, or who does Conor Ben fight next, and can he win a world title? Get involved down below in the comments, and as always, don't forget to please drop a like on this video if you appreciate the content. Subscribe to ESBR Boxing. Also give Boxing Bros UK a subscribe. Great
Yeah.
channel, great
Bless you.
content, and yeah, give us a follow on all social media platforms. Lads, it was an absolute pleasure. Take care.
Pleasure
Yeah.
is ours.